Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we've got a very interesting banger gameplay for you guys for the most part, but we also have a Lucian commentary guide. And the reason why I say it's a commentary guide and not like an updated complete guide or not like a supplementary guide even is really just because this is a complete for fun build. Now I say that because I've tested this build extensively, and basically the main change in this build is going for first strike instead of going for press the attack. And I'm just gonna say it outright, press the attack slash empowerment is a way better rune compared to first strike. But first strike is a very fun, rune to go for, and of course in the mid game you can burst people down and with this build as well. So what exactly is this loadout? Well, you're going to start with the Gluttonous Greaves as usual for your usual AD and Omnivamp early. And then you're going to go first item, Storm Razor. Now, Storm Razor, of course, is a great Lucian item. Most Lucians are going for it. Actually, the second two people are now going for Bloodthirster, which I love as well. But we have Storm Razor here. Storm Razor, of course, gives you a little bit of AD, a little bit of attack speed as well. But, of course, the most important part is the passive, which gives you the burst damage as well as the slow on the person you're attacking, as well as the speed up for yourself. So this is incredibly useful, of course, for the burst and to proc first strike. And speaking of proccing first strike, very common on Lucian is you can see second item is always going to be Slurry Charge Blade. Now, I've actually tested it in the practice tool, and surprisingly enough, the difference between Slurry Charge Blade and Magnetic Blaster in terms of damage is actually not that much. The damage difference is really little, which actually surprised me a lot, right? So, actually, when you go for Magnetic Blaster, you're not actually losing out on that much damage, and you also get the extra range. Now, don't get me wrong, Charge Blade is an amazing item that gives you the most damage and also gives you mixed damage by giving you magic damage. So it's still a great item, but for this purpose, we're gonna go for Blaster. And the reasons are two. Number one, the Energized passive, of course, synergizes with the Energized passive from Storm Razor. And of course, number two, it also gives you extra range. And why is extra range important? Well, basically, to proc first strike, you want to be the one attacking first. So the extra range helps you get in that auto, which procs your first strike, and then you can go in for the combo. Compared if you didn't have Magnetic Blaster, you wouldn't have the extra range, and you might get your first strike removed by the enemies. So then, of course, the next two items very logical, i.e. for bonus damage and more crit damage, more reminder for Armor Pen and Grievous Wounds. And finally, your last item is very flexible. Of course, a okay option is Black Cleaver. Makes you a bit tanky with the HP, gives you ability haste and AD stats you love, as well as, of course, movement speed and shredding people's defenses, which now only needs to stack 4 times, of course, with the Sunder passive. And of course, with your double autos, very easy to stack up Black Cleaver. Other than that, of course, you have your usual suspects in terms of options like Guardian Angel, like Maw, like Shield Bow, even Sterix is also an option as well. And even you can go for Triforce. So a ton of last item options, depending on what you like. And of course, the linchpin of this build, First Strike. Now, First Strike, of course, is going to be pretty trash in the early game, but it's going to be amazing in the mid and late game until, of course, you reach full build, where the goal is not going to come in very handy anymore. But the damage is still going to be very significant when you get a bunch of items and you can actually burst people down and gain a ton of gold from it. So, Brutal, of course, because you auto-attack a lot as an ADC, especially with your passive, Giant Slayer to counter the tanks, Bloodline, because you don't really care about attack speed, Lifesteal just way more useful on Lucian, and then, of course, Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities. Finally, we, of course, have Flash together with whatever else you need. You could go for Cleanse, Exhaust, Barrier, Ignite, whatever you want to go for, depending on the matchup and depending on your preference. But with all that said, let's take a look at our gameplay. Okay, so now into the gameplay itself. Now, in case you missed it in the loadout, this is basically just a, mostly for fun build. It's not a troll build by any means. It's definitely a good Lucian build, but it's just not optimal. And the reason I say that is because Press the Attack is just such a good rune on Lucian that no real rune is ever going to really eclipse it, right? Because with, for example, if I Press the Attack in this game, I would say that Press the Attack probably would give me at least extra 3k damage, whereas at the end of the game, my first strike gave me an extra like 1.5 or 1.6k damage. Now, granted, first strike did, the damage on first strike is a little bit different, right? Because it's kind of burst damage instead of proccing PTA and getting just a little bit of extra damage here and there. You do get the extra goal as well, because obviously, with first strike, at the end of the day, I gain like about 1.5 to 1.6k goal as well. So, that goal is like half an item's worth of goal, although a lot of that goal was already when I was at full build. You guys will see later on. This is a very long game. You can see from the length of the video that this is only a singular game, and it's really long. As you can see, finding opportunity to proc first strike, here and there. But yeah, it's a really long one. So we did manage to get a lot of gold and damage from first strike. But as I said, if I had like press the attack, I would say I do like 3-4k damage with press the attack. So I think at the end of the day, that would be way more useful than first strike. But you know, if you're like me and you've been playing Lucian for a long time, and you're kind of bored, you know, with all the regular Lucian builds, then this is definitely a fun build that you can try out. Of course, when you proc first strike, you get a very satisfying sound effect as well, which definitely gives you that dopamine hit. But yeah, as I said, if you really want to play optimally, this is not it, but it's definitely a fun build to go for. And I've actually optimized my build for first strike, especially with the Storm Razor and the Magnetic Blaster. Instead of going for something like Bloodthirster and Charge Blade, you know, Storm Razor and Magnetic Blaster is way better when you're going for first strike. So Rakan gets a very nice engage onto the Lulu. I'm able to chunk the Lulu a bit, but I get polymorphed. Now here, something very interesting is I believe I was picking at the very end of my team, and I actually forgot to change my summoner spell. And the reason I say I forgot is because cleanse is not that useful in this game. Like, what can I cleanse in this game? I can cleanse like Riven's stun, as I get a very nice engage onto the, or rather Rakan gets a very nice engage onto the Lulu, and I just dash and flash to finish the kill. I can stun, I can cleanse Riven's stun / knockup. I guess you could cleanse the Mordekaiser pull. Ezreal doesn't really have anything you can cleanse. MF doesn't really have either, except for maybe her Make It Rain, the slow, but you probably don't want to be cleansing that. And for Lulu, it's probably just the polymorph that you can cleanse. So I would say the Lulu polymorph cleanse not the most useful. Mordekaiser pull and Riven stun, it could come in handy, but if they're able to already reach, if Riven's already able to reach you, you probably are in deep trouble anyways. So I actually really wanted to go for Exhaust, but I couldn't change my summoner spell in time, so a little bit of a screw up in the kind of pre-game already. But you know, it's not like cleanse is useless this game. You still have quite a good number of things you can cleanse, so it's not all bad. There isn't even Ignite except on Riven to even cleanse out of, so that's a little bit of an unfortunate one. So here we're just back to laning, and laning with first strike is a little bit tricky, right? Because against some lanes, first strike is completely unplayable. Like, for example, if you're playing against a Sivir, first strike is unplayable. You'll never get the first strike in. And even to some extent, MF is a really tough first strike lane because she can technically always throw her Make It Rain on you and remove your first strike, or she can bounce on you and remove it that way as well. We've been relatively good at avoiding her bounces, but you can see here the Make It Rain connects and our first strike gets removed. So it's really not that bad though, because first strike is not really a laning rune anyway. Like, even if you have first strike up all the time and you're proccing it constantly, yeah, you will get a little bit extra gold here and there, but which is not insignificant, but it's not really very significant either. Because first strike is really a mid-game rune when you get like 1 to 2 items and you can actually deal significant damage, is where the first strike goal, like the 100 plus first strike goal, or like, you know, close to 100 first strike goal, is gonna actually come in handy and gonna start adding up and helping you kind of snowball from there. Speaking of which, we already of course got a kill, the only kill of the game thus far, and of course we are trying to get start getting the snowball. We do have like a 600 gold lead against MF, so we're in really good shape. And we haven't even cleared the full wave yet. Lulu once again gets caught, we are dashing in, MF is ulting, I'm just gonna step out. Again, I'm not gonna cleanse the polymorph there because it's really not even needed. Although to be fair, in this instance, like the only thing I can really cleanse is the polymorph and Mordekaiser's pull if he ganks. I don't expect to see like Riven here, for example. Speaking of Mordekaiser, he's invading our jungle. Here, Ezreal is getting caught out by Rakan. Gets caught up by the Gallo knockup as well. I'm pelting him with my ulti, and he's like 1 HP. Lulu is getting chunked by me as well. Dies to Rakan. I flash forward for the kill on Ezreal. MF has to run for the hills. And a really well played skirmish by my team. Viego did end up dying. However, we got a lot of trade kills, you know, in return, which I think is pretty worth. So in the end of the day, I'm 2-0-1. Unfortunately, Rakan got that last hit on the Lulu, but hey, you know, we ain't gonna complain about it. Rakan has been playing very well as well. And here we are able to complete our Storm Razor crucially before the objective fight, right? And I say before the objective fight because objective obviously have already spawned like a good 30 plus seconds ago, but because of that little skirmish that we had in the jungle, obviously both objectives have not yet been started. Mordekaiser is going for the Herald and we are going for the Dragon. Now Lulu is getting a little bit caught off position here. We dash over the wall. Rakan tries to catch her but forces her flash instead, and she is able to actually get out. But of course has to blow the flash. Now MF helping us to leash the dragon there, because obviously we're not gonna stand in the MF ult there. We all just kind of stood to the side, and she ends up giving us a free leash. Lulu, what are you doing? She missteps again, gets knocked out by Rakan for her third death of the game. Honestly, a bit sad for MF here. As I get grabbed by Mordekaiser, I use the cleanse, dash away, and here he ults the Rakan. So gets himself to relative safety of inside Rakan. Inside the death realm with Rakan, I should say. And here, Rakan, trying his best to survive, barely does so. Here I was expecting Ezreal to ult, but if you take a look at the replay too, you can see he doesn't have ult. Obviously, in the game itself, we wouldn't really know that because our mid laner is not actually pinging his ult. And of course, I wouldn't be, looking at Ezreal all the time because he's not my enemy laner. So turns out he didn't actually have ult, which is even more better for us. So Rakan actually lives scot-free. Pretty much, MF is having a pretty sad time here. I mean, she's not playing amazingly, but she's not playing horribly as well. She's just, she's just farming, trying to poke me. Pretty standard MF gameplay, but her Lulu is pretty much fed like 3 kills already, and MF is losing through no real fault of her own. Also, MF Lulu is a very strange combo to play because MF is not really someone who wants to get buffed by Lulu particularly. She much rather have an engager rather than an enchanter. Lulu's roam mid, and with us clearing the wave, we're trying to find a roam mid as well. Maybe catch out Lulu and or Ezreal. It must be warded because as we make our way down here, they are running for the hills. So I'm just gonna come here, get the push in since my mid laner is not anywhere near. And then we're going to go back to top. Now, MF is starting to pelt the top lane tower, and because tower plates have just fallen, she actually gets the tower, and Ezreal also gets the tower at the same time. So, 2 quick towers to the enemy team instantly. And the enemy team and my team are kind of really even in goal. I do have a huge lead against MF. As she gets caught recalling very lazily. At this point, because I outdamage her so much, we actually ult each other in the face, and I'm actually able to kill her before she can kill me. Of course, at the same time, Rakan did jump in trying to help, but ends up taking the kill instead. Don't really blame him for that one, because it was pretty tight, right? Like, she could have killed me there as well, so, it's fine. He was just trying to help. And here, now we are at 4-0-2, almost towards our second item, really fed. As I said, both teams are really even in terms of gold. You can see top lane slight lead for the enemy team, jungle as well. Mid lane a pretty huge lead for Ezreal. But of course in the ADC and support department we have the huge lead against them. From all of the feeding that they've been doing. So yeah, it kind of evens out in the grand scheme of things. Of course, in this game, myself and Rakan are the main driving force of our team because we are the ones that are doing well right now. And of course, Lucian has a very strong early and mid game, and you really do want to kind of push the limits of what you can do to try to get yourself and your team ahead. And speaking of which, here I'm trying to dash on top of Ezreal, who is relatively fed. But of course, Ezreal is a mid game spiker as well. So here, Rakan gets a pretty good catch. Yeah, we burst down the MF. Viego gets the reset. Ezreal has to run for the hills. And here, Viego is now getting a little bit caught. But, in the grand scheme of things, he should be fine. Mordekaiser is trying to run him down, but his whole team is not backing him up. And Mordekaiser comes out of the ult, gets caught by all of us. Huge gargoyles for Mordekaiser, and the flash is able to get him out to safety. And we're not able to pick up the kill onto the Mordekaiser. But yeah, I think Lucian's pretty good against this team. I mean, you do have relatively squishy champions of Lulu, MF, and Ezreal. Really easy for you to burst down, especially with this first strike kind of burst build. Of course, Riven and Mordekaiser are a little bit more difficult. And Riven also has the Death's Dance as a first item, which gives her very little to no damage, but makes her a lot more tankier. So there is that. Now, the next dragon is going to be spawning soon. I'm pinging that I'm on the way in case my team wants to go for some kind of funky dive or whatnot. Lulu looks like she's about to face check into the bush again. Ezreal all goes a little bit wide. Mordekaiser's the one that face checks into the bush. Gets chain CC'd, one shot by my team. And MF ult doesn't really even do all that much. MF cleanses, gets the Lulu ulti. I'm trying to blast her down with my ulti. Do a good amount of damage and actually get the kill from the Stormraiser. Not Stormraiser, from the Magnetic Blaster proc, and I actually didn't need to overextend for that kill, so unfortunately because I thought I couldn't actually get the kill on her. I actually decided to overcommit for the kill, and Ezreal's able to clean up, get a triple kill. Now Camille here plays this pretty poorly, ults the Lulu instead of the Ezreal, and Lulu buys time with the shield, allowing enough time for Ezreal and Natara to clean up the Camille. Camille really needed to focus Ezreal there, needed to manual target her ult onto the Ezreal, and really not the Lulu, because Lulu is not a valuable target whatsoever. Ezreal, on the other hand, now 4-1 and 3 after that basically quadra kill, and now he's becoming a major issue. He has like more gold than me now, but of course, as I said, he is a pretty squishy character, so I do believe 1v1 I still think I can take out Ezreal, especially because he has yet to complete his Triforce, and I already have like a BF sword. But yeah, I was gonna say, what's he waiting for? Like, he has like a ton of gold, right? Like, where is his items? There it is. Now he has Triforce into what looks like is going to be a lethality item, like maybe a Serpent's Fang or a Duskblade. I'm not sure, a little bit of a strange build there from the Ezreal. But yeah, now I'm a little bit less confident 1v1ing Ezreal. But, you know, the good news is we don't actually have to 1v1 him. All we gotta do is to find an opportunity where he gets caught out by Rakan or our team or something, you know, to that effect. And yeah, so here we're just gonna just take out the mid lane wave. Obviously fight breaking out in bot lane, but we can't really do much to save the Camille here. We just need to make sure the enemy team doesn't do Baron. So here we're all posturing at the Baron area, and the main goal of this is just to make sure the enemy team doesn't do Baron. Now the issue with posturing here is that they have an Ezreal MF on their team with insane poke, right? Ezreal poke is gonna hurt in the long run. MF, if she can land those Qs, the poke is gonna hurt as well. So we really don't want to be in a position where we can get poked by the enemy team constantly, because in terms of poke, we mainly just have Galio, right? Lucian is not really a poker, and neither is Viego or Rakan, so we don't want to be eating too much of their poke. Here, it doesn't really look like a very good fight to me, because they're going to chase us down, and Galio and Camille are out of position to help us in the fight. So I decide to go ahead and go for this wave instead to get a little bit of priority, as well as, of course, just getting gold from the minions. And now we have a ward on Baron, so we should be relatively okay here. Fight looks like it might break out in mid lane. You guys know how it is. Sometimes like you see all enemies and allies just walking close to each other, and you know a fight may or may not break out. Like here I was trying to catch up Ezreal a little bit. Look at that damage, by the way. That Q damage on him did like a quarter of my health. That's not fun. Riven coming in from the side. Apparently by herself, gets chain CC by everybody. I ult her down. She goes down. I get the rest of my ult onto Ezreal and Lulu a little bit. And at this point, it's a really, really intense game. Very, very even across the board. Here you can see I'm trying my best to focus Ezreal, but he is, of course, very slippery with his E. He also has Flash and Bearer up, so it's really, really difficult to actually focus him down. So here I'm just looking for opportunities. I know Ezreal's going to be tossing stuff in this choke point, so I'm trying to be careful of that. I dodge his stuff. And here I'm manually targeting Ezreal. I click on Ezreal, manually target him, and I'm focusing him. Camille gets the kill, I believe, with the Ignite. So unfortunately no shutdown for me. And here I'm flashing the wall just to get to the rest of the fight. We finish off the Lulu. Again, Magnetic Blaster coming in handy there for the range. And with that, we should be able to pick up the Baron. Now I say should because obviously I know what happens here. Viego, who's our jungler, is recalling. Now that's not too bad because he can just walk his way here. And we are trying to do the Baron. Now my whole team is alive. 5 man versus 1 Riven. And now, for some reason, Riven is trying to run interference against all 5 of us. And she's 0 and 2, but she's killing me. And she's killing Rakan. Rakan dies to her, and she's single-handedly stopping the Baron. She's going for another kill onto Camille. She gets Camille, and now me and Galio are 1 HP. I've committed to kind of chasing her, and I realize I'm in trouble. So I'm trying to run for the hills now, and now the whole enemy team has respawned, and I have nowhere to go. So I'm trying desperately to recall here. It's very obvious that I'm here. Riven actually didn't know I was there. Like, it was really funny because she dashed the wall, walked towards me, so I thought she knew where I was because there's nowhere else I could have been. But she walks away, and then I reveal myself to Ezreal and I die. So I think that I should have done one of 2 things, right? Either I commit to trying to sneak in the recall, or I execute at the... not execute, but I give the kill to Riven at the tower, right? Because it's better than giving Ezreal the kill, which is exactly what I did here. But it was really funny. I thought Riven knew I was in that bush, so I was trying to kind of outplay her, but I ran into the Ezreal. I thought it would be really obvious I was there, but Riven apparently didn't know because she hopped over and then walked back. Anyway, speaking of overextended, Ezreal completely overextended, gets caught in Camille ult, and Camille just, you know, eliminates him off the face of the map. And now at this point, I'm at like 12k gold even with Ezreal. Now off of that fight alone, the Riven got so fat, she's now 2, 2, and 3, and she's kind of catching up in terms of gold with us as well. The rest of the map, like Mordekaiser, MF, Camille, Galio, all kind of at, on par, with one another as the enemy team is doing the dragon. Now here I'm launching my ult, unfortunately helping them reach the dragon a little bit. Now I'm trying to avoid the dragon and actually blast them. Camille gets chain CC, does get the dragon. Has a GA and has the revive here. Now her team can't really help her all that much. Mordekaiser is trying, but he's actually in the ult. Now just gets out of the ult, and now he is now the one dying. Lulu in danger once again. And I somehow get the kill on her, I believe with the red buff, so a bit of a wasted flash from Rakan there. My red buff ends up finishing the kill, and now it's only Ezreal and MF left, so there is a chance we can actually dive here. And I actually have enough attack speed to remove the ward straight up. And here, Kadar kind of trapped under tower, we have Baron, and yeah, I'm trying to focus down the Ezreal. As you guys can see, boom, we actually finish him off. MF doesn't have the damage to trade back. And we get the kill on Ezreal, so as I suspected, I do have the damage to kill Ezreal. Especially because there was a minion wave and it was a lot harder for him to actually hit me. And with that, we can reset, complete our IE, and then get the components for the more reminder. Enemy turret destroyed. Taking the anti-heal here because it's going to be coming really handy against pretty much everybody. Of course, the armor pen is also really useful for the Riven. Riven is really tanky. Lulu is getting caught out here. And here is back into another choke point. I'm trying to launch my ulti. Surprisingly, I'm hitting almost nobody until I hit the Mordekaiser. And 67 gold from the first strike there. Here, Riven gets caught out, so I'm focusing her. And then we're gonna just get rid of the Lulu. And now MF is now kind of caught out. Storm Razor auto again finishes the kill. Ezreal and Mordekaiser are the only ones left alive with Elder. 12 seconds away. Now here I'm denying enemy team jungle, getting myself gold as well, kind of life-stealing. But now I realize I'm on the wrong side of the map, right? But here we get the push in on the opposite side of the map from Elder, but Elder is now up and we gotta make our way there. Right now, this is a very problematic situation, right? So I actually think my team plays very well this game in general, right? Because here you see, the situation is now we're 4v2. The issue is that the one guy we're missing is our jungler. And one of the two on the enemy team is the enemy jungler. Now you can see how this could be a recipe for disaster because, if you focus Elder, you could just be giving enemy team a free leash. Mordekaiser just needs to flash smite, both of which he has. There's even a blast plant that's up, right? We do have a ward behind, so we can't see him coming. There's Mordekaiser, so look at this. Everybody's jumping in on him. 3 ultimates onto the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser is down. 4 ultimates actually, no, 3. Rakan didn't actually ult. And now, with that, we are able to secure the Elder Dragon, and Viego even gets it because he's now alive. So, really well played by my team there. I've seen so many solo queue games where the team kind of ducks it up, and all that happens is we're focusing the Mordekaiser, we're focusing the dragon. Mordekaiser pops the blast plant, flashes, just gets a free smite, gets a free steal, and then everybody starts picking the Viego who wasn't even there in the first place, and it's not really his fault, right? I mean, it's his fault for dying, but it's not his fault for not smiting because he's not even there in the first place. It's our fault for not zoning off Mordekaiser / killing Mordekaiser before actually doing the objective. Speaking of doing the objectives, here we're doing the Baron. We do have Elder, but look at the insane enemy team, guys. The Riven is insane. She is doing so much damage and actually manages to get 2 people killed before she herself dies. And now Rakan is 1 HP. The Ezreal, as we know, is insanely fat. Uses his range to try to pelt us down. I'm trying to use my range as well. I actually get 86 gold from that ulti, despite it looking like it did no damage. But here Rakan, almost dead. Here we trap for the Lulu. We get the kill onto the Lulu. And now we are gonna just back off, right? So we have 3 Elder Dragons left on myself, Rakan, as well as the Viego, but the enemy team got the Baron, so that's not very good. So the game continues. It's as I said, it's going to be a really long game, really intense game. But this is honestly a game that I enjoyed tremendously, and the reason I say that is because I feel that both teams are actually playing really well. Right, and it's really nice to play a game where both teams are playing really well, and it's actually very even in terms of the state of the game, right? Like constantly the whole game, the goal difference has not been like more than 3k because they've played well and killed us, we played well and killed them, and then the objective fight was played very well as well. Like the previous objective fight, my team played very well to secure Elder, and then now that the enemy team played very well to kick us off the Baron despite the fact that we had Elder, and they actually get the Baron despite the fact we had Elder, and they actually get more kills than us, which is insane, right? So here I still have Elder. Actually I don't have Elder anymore. I'm kidding, but yeah. So here we're trying to find a catch onto Ezreal. Ezreal is able to escape, or rather not get caught is a better way to say it. Viego though, he's getting caught, and we're trying our best to save him. Now insane bait I guess by Viego here, because he manages to bait the Riven Lulu into getting hit by Rakan ulti knockup, and then into the Galio knockup. So pretty poorly played by the enemy team here, to be honest. They chase in way too deep, and we have a lot of counter engage with Galio and Rakan. So in the end, Viego does die, and Ezreal gets baited by Camille. By the way, guys, what is that Ezreal shield? By the way, that's huge. Like, he has like that scales off of health, right? The only health item he has is that Triforce. So how does he have so much shield from gargoyles? That doesn't even make any sense. I might have to try that one for myself, but that is just insane. Now here at this point, I'm actually full build, and in this game, I actually chose to go for GA. Now, this is the first time I've bought GA in like over a year of playing Wild Rift, because I generally think GA is a useless item, and I say that because the moment you die, right, if your team doesn't actually protect you and doesn't actually chase the enemy team off your reviving body, you're gonna die again. So I think GA is a huge waste of gold. Like, in terms of gold efficiency, it's one of the worst items in the game, because it only gives you 40 AD and 40 armor. And the main unique thing it gives you is the revive. But the revive, as I said, is not very useful if your team doesn't actually back you up, right? But as I said, in this game, I actually trust my team. This is like first time in a long time in solo queue. I actually think my team is pretty competent, despite the fact that their KDAs are not really the best, especially the Viego. I think I don't really trust the Viego, but I actually trust Rakan, Camille, and Galio, because I think they've been playing really well despite not having like the best KDAs, right? And again, in the choke point, Riven is eating my entire ult, but she's not taking all that much damage. I even have full build at this point. I make a mistake by dashing in. I have to flash back out to correct the error, and we're able to get rid of Camille. Now Mordekaiser coming in from the side. I don't want to be ulted by him, so I'm walking away. And for now, we get a free pick. And here Mordekaiser goes in, ults the Rakan. I'm surprised Rakan just doesn't actually die here. He actually gets the knockup. He escapes the ult and now actually gets the ulti of his own and charms the Ezreal as well. Is on the escape path, dashes over to Viego and actually gets out for a while until he gets hit by the Ezreal ulti. A little bit unfortunate there. Trying to make the great escape, nearly made it happen, but not quite. Now here's a very interesting situation, right? Now we're 4v4. Elder Dragon is up, enemy team is going onto Elder Dragon, and my team is completely out of position, so I was going to Elder, but Viego decides to make the executive call to go for Baron, so me and Galio get the message, we're going to Baron as well. Now here I completely mess up by dashing into the wall and not dashing over the wall, so I'm forced to ult the Baron to get more DPS onto the Baron. We gotta get this Baron before the enemy team comes, right? So here Ezreal helps us leash again, we get the Baron, and here, basically, we did the Elder for Baron trade. So again, very well played by both teams, right? The enemy team instantly got into position to take Elder. My team instantly responded by quickly trading Baron for Elder. And now whenever you trade Baron for Elder, it's sort of a stalemate, right? The main team that can screw up is the Baron team, which is my team, right? And why do I say that? Because basically, the Baron minions are going to automatically push, right? You really don't even have to do anything. Like, if you really wanted to, you don't even have to clear waves. You can just let the Baron minions, like, push out. Right, and I'm actively not trying to clear waves because I need my team to get more gold, right? I'm already full build, so any more gold on me, it doesn't matter because I can't buy like a 7th item, right? Because like that's just not how the game works. So I need my team to get the waves, I need my team to get the gold, so I'm not gonna really try to push. Where like this is what we're doing is very risky here, right? I'm pinging retreat because if one person walks up, we can jump on them, but if like it's 2 or 3 people, it's very risky because they have Elder. And that's kind of why I say you need the Baron team to screw up. Because the Baron team doesn't need to do anything. Their waves are just going to automatically push out without them actually doing anything. The only way they can screw it up is if they overextend with their waves and they get caught up by their team with Elder. So all that needs to happen here is we just need to hang back and they have to deal with our waves. Just look at the top wave, right? They have no inhib. The Baron minions are just trudging their way in. And the Baron minions are actually going to threaten the base, right? So they have to back and they have to basically deal with that. So basically the Baron for Elder trade is kind of a stalemate, right? Because the Baron team just doesn't have to do anything. The Elder team has to clear waves, and that's pretty much it. There doesn't really need to be any kind of interaction, and that's exactly what's happening here now. 5 seconds of Elder left. Now this is the window where the Baron team, which is my team, can start looking for something, because the enemy team might be thinking, oh, we still have Elder, let's get into a fight, or get into a bad fight, but then the Elder runs out, and then they actually get into a bad fight, and they actually die. So here, we're actually just looking for a fight. So here I'm actually picking to force the inhib, because I see Ezreal on the other side of the map, and we also have super minions pushing in. So I wanted to force the inhib, but my team instead kind of wants to go for a fight. So here I actually managed to chunk Lulu out already. Ezreal's still out of position. He's trying to get to his team. I'm trying to ult down Mordekaiser, who's very low. Lulu has to ult Mordekaiser to kind of save him. And we're getting zoned off by MF ulti, but you know, it's all good. We just need to walk away a little bit there. And then here, once again, I want to threaten this inhib, like this side lane inhib, because this is a very valuable inhib, and the enemy team may not be able to defend it, because it's like really just 1 HP. That the moment the wave goes in, 1 or 2 autos might kill it. So, here, yeah, once again, a little bit of a stalemate here, because we need somebody to engage, we need somebody to go in, or the enemy team to go in on us, get hit by Ezreal. Oh, at this point, doesn't actually even do that much damage, surprisingly. Ezreal has Twin Guard last item, which is pretty surprising of an item to go for. And basically, the entire enemy team is full build except the Riven for some reason. MF caught up position completely messes up the flash. Flashes back into danger, completely dies. Now I'm in danger with the Riven. I flash away. We get the kill onto Riven. I still have GA. Riven has GA as well. I get ulted by Lulu. I pop the stasis, and I am able to survive with my GA intact at 1 HP. So here, now we've gotten rid of MF, we've gotten rid of Riven. I'm just lifestealing off of the minions at this point. And I want to get that tower, but Mordekaiser has stepped up. We're going to try to burst him down. Now he ults me and is able to hit me and get me into GA. Now he procs the gargoyles and I believe the W, and he is able to 1v1 kill me in the death realm, but it matters not, because my team is now knocking on the Nexus. Ezreal, trash wave clear. Lulu, trash wave clear. Mordekaiser, pretty bad wave clear as well, and they can't stop us from ending the game. My team just having a little bit of fun at this point, and we are able to end that huge banger of a game that, yeah, it was really enjoyable to play. So either which way, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.